Today we're going to be doing graphs and intercepts of linear equations. Yesterday was kind of the precursor to this. So what is a linear equation? If I drew a graph right here, and then, so this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. If I drew a line like this, this line has an equation that represents the line. And it's always in the form, or we try to get it into the form, y equals mx plus b, which I will explain in our next chapter in our next section what that means. But you always want to try to get your equation in the form y equals. When your line passes the y-axis, you notice your x is 0, but your y is right here. That's called the y-intercept, that point. Let's say it was 0, 3, so the y-intercept would be 0, 3 here. When it crosses the x-axis, that's called the x-intercept. So this point, let's see, that was 4. This point would be -4, 0. So when x is 0, you can find out what y equals, and that's the y-intercept. When y is 0, you figure out what x equals, and that's the x-intercept. So you're going to be graphing linear equations. The first graph is going to be y equals x plus 5. We already have it in the form y equals with the x here, so we don't have to do anything to the equation. What you're going to do is plug in 3 points and then graph it. Pick a negative, pick a positive, and pick a 0. So I'm going to do -6, just whatever, I don't care, 0, and +3. If I take -6, I plug that into my equation, y equals -6 plus 5. What's -6 plus 5? Y equals -1. So when x equals -6, y equals -1. Now if I plugged in 0, you could do this out, but 0 plus 5 equals 0. When x equals 0, y equals 5. If I plug in 3, what's y going to be? 3 plus 5, 8. Now I have to go over to my graph, so you're going to need graph paper, and graph it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is -6, down 1. That's that point. You don't have to label your point. 0, 5, so 0 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does anybody remember what that point would be called? That would be called your y-intercept because it crosses the y-axis. And then 3, 8. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's my point. And now you have to get a ruler, draw a line, and this line is y equals x plus 5. Okay? Let's go to this one. Y equals 3y, x plus y, 3y equals 4. All right, the first thing I have to do is get it into the form y equals. So here's my equation. This is a linear equation. I'm going to subtract x from both sides to get 3y equals -x plus 4. Now I'm actually going to divide by 3 to get y equals -1/3 x plus 1 1/3. I don't like fractions, but here they are. They're in here. So when I do my x and y, I'm going to go like this. I like to make it so that these will come out to kind of like a solid, good whole number or a natural integer. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick a negative number. I'm going to pick -3 because it's going to make that cancel. So I'm going to do -3. So if I do -3, I'm going to get -1/3 times -3 plus 1 1/3. -3 times -1/3, those cancel. That becomes a positive. That's going to be 1 plus 1 1/3, which is equal to 2 1/3. The next one I'm going to pick is 0. If I put a 0 in here, it's going to be 1 1/3. And then I'm going to do +3. So if I put a +3, it's going to be -1 plus 1 1/3. And I'll show you how to do this if you don't know how to add fractions. 3 and 1 is, that's 4/3 minus 3/3 equals 1/3. Okay, so 1/3 is my other. And then when you're doing fractions, you just kind of have to guess on your number line where the 1/3 would be. So -3, and then 2 1/3, 1, 2, and then 1/3 is right about there. 0, 1 1/3, and then 1, 2, 3, and 1/3. And there we've got our line. We're going to draw our line, and then we're going to write, this is the equation x plus 3y equals 4. And if you want to write the equation y equals negative 1/3 x plus 1/3, 1 and 1/3, that's okay too. Okay, the last thing it says, find the x-intercept and the y-intercept of this equation. Always get it into your y equals first. So I'm going to subtract the x, and I'm going to get y equals, always put your x part first, y equals negative 2x plus 3. So all I have to do to find the x-intercept is put 0 for y, and all I have to do to find the y-intercept is put 0 for x. So if I put 0, I'm going to do the x first. Y equals 0 plus 6, so y equals 6 when x equals 0. Now if I had 0 equals negative 2x plus 6, because now I'm plugging the 0 in for that, I'm going to get negative 2x equals, I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides, negative 6 divide by negative 2, and I get x equals 3. So my x-intercept is 3, 0, and then my y-intercept is 0, 6. All right, so that is what you're going to be doing today, and your assignment is on page 236 and 237, 1 through 22. Thank you.